hate when it does that. Hey guys, how are we doing? How are we do? First off, listen, it's a good show. Like the racial bias aside, they're keeping you on your toes. It is very suspenseful. I will say this: I don't think the Traitors have the game the way they think. I think Rob has clocked one game, Candace has clocked one game. I think this show is coming in with some twists because we still have to get new Traitors. Like, I think we're going to get some twists to not allow people to control the game. We'll see. We'll see. But I think that is coming in. Listen, Colton survived another episode. That's not what we wanted, but this was a good one. They did their big one with this. Let's hope they do their big one next week. No complaints. Let's get into it. Hi, I am Nikki.Star. I do comedic reviews of some of your favorite reality TV shows. If you happen to come upon this video, please know it is not 3 hours. I do a live review in the beginning, because I said 3 hours, like, well, we're normally here for 4. But I do a live review of the show. I give my thoughts and opinions. And then for the remainder of the time after my review, I hop in the comments section and I talk to the Star family about the show and who knows what else. So just so you know, we are not talking about Traitors for 2 or 3 hours, how long this live may go. If you're new here, give me a like, give me a share. Thank you for stopping by. If you are Star family, you know what to do. Hype your girl up. Let's get into it. Ciao. It's getting tight in here. So we start off with the Traitors talking about basically, well, with Lisa talking about how she has the amulet on. Everybody's getting putting on their worst garments. Colton looked a mess. And they're coming down to this dinner where this ball where everybody's going to eat and have a good time. And Lisa was just in her confessional. She's just like, I can't do it on Colton because that'll be too obvious. And I'm just like, I don't think it would be too obvious to kill Colton. If Lisa is a traitor and Colton said, if I'm gone, it's Lisa, just so you know that. I don't think that that's too obvious because I think it would be smart for a traitor to do that to put the heat on Lisa. But Lisa can't think. Poor thing. She was a good housewife, but my God, today she cannot talk herself out of anything. And I think, a lot of us wanted her to be a good traitor, but we saw her at reunions. We saw her with Kim and the bunny. She can't talk herself out of tight situations. So that's no shock there. But I felt like it would have been very smart to kill Colton, but she didn't go for it. She didn't take that shot. And here we go. So she ends up choosing she ends up choosing Yam Yam or Jam Jam. She ends up choosing Jam Jam. And my God, today did this create chaos. So Alan comes in and he's just like, one of you have been murdered by the traitor. But don't fret, I have potion. And I have this potion that could save whoever was killed. So he's like, you discuss upon amongst yourself and see who's going to get it. Everybody was saying it should be Kristen or Tara or Natalie. Everybody was thinking about what they did. Everybody's like, Steven, you flipped the card. And Steven was like, I'm not a traitor. I shouldn't have touched the cards. And then Tara is like, well, Dorinda, you served me. Dorinda was just like, I'm nice. I serve everybody. You fed me turkey. And Dorinda's like, everybody had turkey. So everybody's going around the table to see what was out of the ordinary to make them believe, to make it, to see if that was the kiss of death or whatever. So it gets down to Natalie, Kristen, and Tara. Tara's standing up and she's like, I'm going to get the potion. I'm going to get the potion. Natalie runs for the potion. She gets it. And Tara's just like, no, I said that I wanted to drink it. And Natalie's like, well, I want to drink it too because I think the traitor is going to kill me. And then Johnny just handed it. Here's the thing. Johnny, Tara is your girl. You should have gave her that potion, but she was absolutely fine. Good for her. So Johnny sees the other potion, and while Tara and Natalie are fighting over that, He takes the potion and he gives it to Kristen. And Kristen, at first, she wanted it, but she was like, if y'all gonna fight like this, I do not want it. So Johnny takes it to Kristen. He said, girl, drink it. So Kristen drinks it, and Natalie and Tara are fighting over this potion because somebody died at the black dinner. And Natalie just ends up snatching it out of Tara's hand and drinking it. And everybody's just like, oh my gosh, Natalie, how could you? And so Alan is just like, okay, y'all drink the potion. Doesn't mean that the person that the traitors killed is saved. Let's see. The person that the traitors wanted to die killed is Yam Yam. And Jam Jam, he starts screaming, Lisa, kiss me, Lisa, kiss me, Lisa, kiss me. I will say he had the baddest fit out of everybody. I love that white suit with the what was it? Ostrich fur shawl. Oh, he ate that. Colton looked a mess. What was that? But Jam Jam ate that liquor. He said, it's Lisa, it's Lisa. Lisa was the one who did it. Lisa was the one who kissed me. And here's the thing, traitors, don't do that again. Don't do. I felt like that was such an unfair move to the traitor. The thing that works for them is killing these people in secret and not allowing them to come back to defend themselves. Like him throwing that heat on Lisa was the nail in her coffin. And I just felt like that wasn't fair. Like I don't know. I just didn't like it. I'm just like, but I have to say this, Lisa, you didn't do much to defend yourself. I felt like Lisa was checked out. I felt like maybe she was ready to go home. But I will say this was so funny that the murder, the reveal of this murder came right after everybody did their graduation goodbyes. And they were all like, oh, we love playing the game with you guys. We're all really good people. This is all by design. This is divine timing. It's a game show, y'all. It's a game show. Divine timing. Okay. So then the next morning at breakfast, the show sends the traitors in first. Lisa is just like, listen, I did all the work. Y'all got to step up and protect me. And Candace was like, I got you. And Rob was quiet because Rob was just like, listen, I got to take a hit for Lisa. It's going to look too obvious if I start defending her out of nowhere and I'm in this alliance with Colton. Rob is very loyal to Colton. And I think that's going to bite him in the back because Steven is very loyal to Colton. And we will get into that. So Rob isn't saying anything, and everybody else starts coming in, and they're all talking about Natalie. Now, here's the thing. Racial bias plays a huge part in this game because I don't think that anybody at that breakfast table thought that Natalie was a traitor. They did not like how she handled a frail white woman, and they were going to punish her for it. And Natalie felt it. She was very uncomfortable when she came in because nobody was really talking and engaging with her. And she was like, oh, what I did was wrong, guys. I'm so sorry. Lisa was just like, yeah, what you did wasn't cool. I don't know if that was Lisa the traitor or Lisa the white woman, but Natalie felt very uncomfortable at that table because everybody was just like, listen, you don't go for her. You mess with the wrong one. And Tara didn't like it. And Tara, I like you, but I don't think that you thought that Natalie was a traitor. I think that you didn't like how Natalie treated you. So all of a sudden she's a traitor. And all the white women do this on this show. Mora, I thought Jam Jam was a traitor because she didn't like how he spoke to her. No, y'all have to have some concrete evidence. They looked at me weird, or they're tall and trans. I'm scared of them. They're a traitor. That shouldn't fly on this show. And I don't like how it's constantly overlooked. So Natalie is uncomfortable, and I for a millisecond felt sorry for her. But Natalie, all my sympathy is always removed from her because she is so male-centered. It is nauseating watching her on my screen. So the funny part about this is Rob was talking to Colton, and basically Colton was leading the charge against Lisa. But now Colton is like so quiet. Not Rob. Lisa was talking to Colton at breakfast. And now Colton is suddenly so quiet. And so Lisa came for him like, oh, I know you're going after me. And Colton was just like, oh, no, I'm not. I am not coming after you, because Colton realized he stuck his neck out there too many times and was wrong. And now he knows he got a target on his back. So Colton was just like, I'm just going to lean back. And I think it's very odd that when Colton leans back, Rob leans forward. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. So we have a mission, and this mission is they have to carry these gold rocks, which symbolizes their money. They have to carry them up a hill. When they carry them up the hill, they have to hit these gold vases, and the gold vases give them more rocks, which is also gold. So the person who has the most gold is the one who is able to get this dagger. And this dagger, it symbolizes two votes at the round table. So if somebody wants to steer the vote one way, they can use their dagger. If they want to use it to protect them, they can use it for that. So everybody gets up there and they start putting rocks in certain people's, the gold in certain people's box, because they're trying to see, this is the most trustworthy person that we think will do right with this dagger. So Stephen, I think Stephen, Colton, and Rob have the most rocks. Rob ends up having the most rocks most gold out of anybody. So then he gets the power to stand in front of four people, I believe. And these four people were Eric with the magical ears, Colton, Stephen, and Natalie. He has to ask them three questions, and whoever he think is lying is the one that has the dagger. All of these people are in an alliance. So this worked in his favor, right? Because Eric goes and he tells Rob that he doesn't have the dagger, and of course he's telling the truth, right? Next up is Colton. Colton's like, I don't have it. I don't have it. Then Stephen, he sees it. Stephen says, nope, I don't have it, buddy. I don't have it. And both Colton and Stephen are shaking their head and looking at Rob and being like, no, we don't have it. Then he gets to Natalie. You dummy. You dummy. I'm sorry. Candace, Duranta, Yam. You dummy! You dummy! You big dummy! Get to Natalie, and Rob asks her three questions, and he's just like, do you have the dagger? She's like, no, I don't have it. No. Them men are going to turn on you, fool, and everybody's going to rejoice. Male-centered women always gets devoured last, but it is the best devouration ever witnessed. It is like watching her is like watching a humiliation ritual. I cannot believe y'all hyped this girl up. So Rob looks at her and he's just like, oh, Natalie has it. And he even says in his confessional, he's like, she was so obvious because she wanted to give him the dagger. Dummy. She wanted to give him the dagger, knowing that you probably would have been voted out. She wanted to give Rob the dagger. She's like, oh man, I really wanted it, but Rob is just so good at this. Ew. Ew. Male-centered and trustworthy to a colonizer. Basura. So Rob ends up getting the dagger. So now he has two votes, right? And he's going to use them two votes for himself. He's not using it for you, dummy, even though you're in his alliance. And you know what? I'm so glad Tiffany got you together because she's seen what I always seen from day one. If you don't know what I'm talking about, they're all doing press for the show. Natalie tried to comfort Tiffany when they were doing press at I forget what podcast they were on, but one of the podcasters asked I think it was Tiffany, Natalie, Eric. I don't remember the other people, but they asked him, what do you feel is better, being loved or winning the money? And Tiffany, it was asked to Tiffany. And Tiffany said, oh, I would love to win the money, but knowing that I came out of this and I had so many people love me and really rooting for me, that felt better than the money. And Natalie goes, oh no, winning the money is better than being loved by everybody. And Tiffany was just like, well, that's what I said for me. And Natalie goes, well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that winning the hearts of America means more than winning the money. And then Tiffany goes, well, you wouldn't know what it's like to be loved. And Natalie tried to go for her again and was cut off. Thank you, Tiffany, for clearing her. Anyway, so now Rob has this dagger of power. And now we are headed back to the castle, and everybody is talking about who they're going to go for. Um, Half the group is like, we're going to go for Lisa. The other half is just like, we think it's Natalie. Tara is really starting this Natalie thing because she just did not like how Natalie treated her over that potion, and saying, well, it seems very obvious that she's a traitor because the way she went after that potion. And I'm just like, Natalie didn't look like a traitor to me the way she went after that potion. She looked desperate. She got a little too carried away. And with Natalie knowing that her, banishment is on the line, she starts going and apologizing to everybody. And she goes to apologize to Tara. And Tara's just like, listen, I don't like how you treated me over the potion. And Natalie was just like, well, my life was on the line. So I was, acting out of emotion and not really, thinking about what was the best thing to do. Then Lisa walks in and she's just like, it's a private conversation. And they're like, no, let's come in. While you can come in. And so while Natalie is apologizing to Tara, who tells her she thinks that she's a traitor by how she acted, Natalie is, freaking out and trying to defend herself. And she says, when we murdered so-and-so, I forget who she said. And Lisa goes, and Tara goes, but they don't say anything, but they look at each other like, oh, interesting. So then they pull each other aside and just like, did you hear her say that? And Tara's just like, yes, I did. I heard her say that. And Lisa's just like, thank you so much, Natalie, for giving me a bone. So everybody's talking and discussing who they're going to put up. Then they get to, before they get to the round table, Rob has made it known that he wants Lisa out of there. So he has been talking about how Lisa is obviously a traitor because Jam Jam wouldn't lie. That's not his character. And then he starts to like take lead of the game, right? And Colton is just watching him like a proud papa. Clock that. I'm telling you, something's going on. So Colton is watching him like a proud papa. And Rob has a dagger. He tells the people who were there for him, who were there, who saw him get the dagger, he tells them, we're not telling anybody. We're making a pact, right? We're not going to tell anybody. So because the person who has the dagger is going to be the one that has a heat on their back. So Steven comes in. He was the person who saw, one of the people who saw Rob get the dagger. Steven comes in. He is so not traitor coded. They asked Steven what happened. Steven said, we made a pact. I can't say anything. Steven tell all the business. He is not a traitor. Even if I didn't know, I wouldn't think that he was a traitor. Steven tells everything. My God, today, he can't hold water. So Rob kind of has control over this group, right? One thing I will say about Magic Ears, a whole flunky. The way he follows around the white men on this show, embarrassing. Anything that him and Natalie, anything that white men tell him to do, he do it right away. Now he's convinced it's Lisa. How, Magic Ears? How? Colton told you it was Lisa, and you said yes, sir. Ooh, and you're supposed to, maybe maybe that's just my culture, but I'm just like, I feel like when Black people know, when a Black person go on TV, you representing all of us, so you better act right. You are the billboard for Black Americans, so act accordingly. Does your culture do that? You're not thinking about how you're going to be looking because you representing Asian men? Representation matters. You're the representation and you're showing up as a flunky when your people got this stereotype already? I hate watching him and Natalie play. Oh my God. It's like watching Mean Girls. And it's just like they're constantly trying to be accepted by this group that will never accept them. And everybody knows it but this person. It is so embarrassing watching that man play. But he's on whatever train Colton tells him to be on, he is going to be on it. So now we get to the round table. Rob, it's in him. He is going after Lisa. So Lisa starts off and she goes after Natalie. And she's just like, listen, I think that you're a traitor because you said this. And then she said, Tara heard it. And Tara's like, I hate when people do that. Tara, you had a conversation with Lisa and you told her that you heard the same thing. Now you're just like, no, stand in it. That's why you keep on losing faithful. Stand in it. And Tara's just like, well, you did say it. I did hear it. Girl, what are you doing? Stand minute. Y'all are not confident. That's why Colton and Rob are able to bulldoze y'all, because y'all don't have confidence in anything. Stand up. So she makes a beeline. Lisa makes a beeline for Natalie. Tara slowly joins in. Then Johnny joins in, and then Natalie says that she thinks that Lisa is a traitor. She don't have nothing. Natalie don't have no reason why she thinks Lisa's a traitor other than some white people told her, and she gonna say yes. Ugh. Embarrassing. I will say this. Up until the last few minutes of this show, I thought that Rob was playing a phenomenal game. I think he messed up when he went after Lisa a little too hard. Because here's the thing, Rob. You, in the game, you were just like Steven. You weren't talking too much. But now you're making power moves. That switch up is going to give people pause. Because you weren't saying anything. You were doing fine. Whatever Colton went with, you went with. Now you're making power moves and you're telling everybody to vote for Lisa. I think you suck your neck out too far too soon. And I don't think that that's going to work in your favor, because here's the thing. I didn't mind that Rob was coming after Lisa. I thought it made sense to be like, not come after her, but to be like, yo, it could be you, because it's real suspicious and you are not really defending yourself well. But to take the lead over Colton, it looks weird. It looks weird. And I think you were putting yourself in a really bad place. But then he jumps in at the round table and he says basically that Jam Jam is credible. He called out Lisa because Lisa is a traitor. Candace was heartbroken. Candace, get your head in the game. She was so heartbroken. She was just like, I cannot believe you. Like, she was just so hurt by him. Again, I think him voting for Lisa was a good idea. I do think he's putting 20 on 10, and that is going to shed a light on him. I think he's playing too hot too soon. I feel like a little bit more needed to happen for him to make this swift change. It's a little weird. So the heat gets put back on Natalie, right? And as Natalie tries to defend herself, Colton then jumps in and he goes, where is Colton in that terrible part again? He goes, well, I like to talk about Jam Jam again. Lisa, I do think it's weird that he said that you like, he was so adamant about it. He was so adamant about you kissing him. Why is that? And then Maura jumps in and she's just like, well, I think that it ought to be you, because you, that is not an Irish accent, because you tried to kiss me. And I said, I don't want my makeup. Sorry to my Irish subscribers. She said, I don't think I want the makeup on my face. Why did I turn her into a pirate? Oh, Lord. And let me tell you something. One thing these people going to learn to do is not come for them housewives. Because as soon as she started talking and coming for Lisa, Dorinda said, not on my watch. Dorinda said, absolutely not. She kissed everybody around the table. So then if that was the case, then we all should have been dead. And she said, furthermore, you're a follower. Whatever anybody says, you just jump on the bandwagon. And Moore was like, eh. So I think, here's the thing. I don't think that it was bad, because Candace was defending Lisa too. I think that Candace is still playing a very smart game, although she doesn't know it. I think her emotions are getting the best of her. I need her to clock in, right? But I think that she is still playing a good game because the housewives never go against each other. So that is working in her favor, especially when Dorinda chimed in to protect her. And Dorinda has never done that for anybody. So I think that Dorinda is the protection for her in this game for now. But so after Dorinda jumps in, the Colin Mora, a follower that jumps on the bandwagon, Lisa tries to defend herself, and it's so terrible. And I'm just like, Lisa, I felt like she was just ready to go. Because even though Lisa defends herself terribly, this was a bad, bad, bad job of defending yourself from being um, a traitor. So everybody starts putting up their votes, and the majority is for Lisa. We get to Candace, and Candace is just like, I can't vote. I don't think that Lisa is a traitor, and I don't think that Natalie, she's like, Natalie, listening to you, I don't think that you are a traitor. So I'm going to do a throwaway because I'm not sure. I'm going to go for Rob. And everybody's like, and even Rob is like, oh, you came for me? And I'm just like, Rob, how are you shocked? I don't even think that Candace is doing this to defend Lisa. I think a part of that is in defense of Lisa, but I also think it's just like, if you're going after a traitor out of the freaking blue, I'm next. So of course she would try to put the heat on you as well, since you are a traitor getting rid of traitors. Smart move. Smart move. So Lisa is voted out, and Colton is so happy. So Lisa goes up there because right before Lisa goes up, Colton is he gives his vote. He's saying, "I'm voting for an icon, I'm voting for a legend, and I'm voting for the Lisa Rinna." So Lisa gets up and she starts crying, and she's just like, "One thing about me, I am an icon, I am a legend, and I am a traitor." And everybody goes crazy, and I'm just like, "There go Colton with more power." Ugh. I will say this: Johnny Ware is doing some moves. Him and Candace about to link up. He is doing some moves because he was on Natalie, but he said, Lisa, I didn't think it was you, but you did such a terrible job defending yourself. I had to change my vote. So he was not going to vote for her, but she did such a terrible job defending herself. And I'm just like, Johnny didn't want Lisa out. He wanted out Colton. He wants to get out one of them guys. He wants to get out one of them guys. So Lisa is found to be a traitor. Colton has more power. Before we go into the rest of the episode, I want to say this. Lisa was in her confessional crying, and I did not know for a lot of these traitors that this is not a lot of these a lot of people on the show. Traitors is a really big deal for them. Not saying that Traitors isn't like a really big show, but those who have been picked, especially the housewives, they get so emotional, when it's time to go. They are obviously having a very great time there. I want to know what they're doing outside of the game, because they're all having such a great time that they hate to leave. Jam Jam kept on crying about the idea of leaving. And I also think for her, she feels like this is probably her way of getting back into Housewives and just back into something that she felt like was taken from her. So this was her second chance. And I think it did good for her. I think a lot of people forgot, except for the Black people, forgot how awful she was, right? Or probably still is. And, what her PR couldn't do, Traitors actually did for her. So Lisa is gone. The housewives are pissed. The housewives are pissed. And here's the thing. I don't know in any other world is this fact, but it's fact here on Traitors. The housewives are the girls that all the women want to be. The housewives are who Colton think he is. Because when they get upset and when they get information, the women follow. Candace and Dorinda correctly are outraged at Lisa being gone because you don't vote against a housewife. And even that's what Colton said. Colton's like, I thought somebody said we don't vote against a housewife. I need somebody that, oh my God, today. Here's the thing, Colton, you only do this to women. That's why I can't stand it. You don't talk to them men like that. You don't go after the men like that. But you are constantly antagonizing and stalking the women on this show. This reunion is going to be a mess. Speaking of that reunion, Peacock putting out a stop the bullying post for Colton, where you didn't do it for Tiffany, you guys keep on missing the mark. You keep on missing the mark, and this is not going to work in your favor. You even got Lisa Rinna to take back her words of calling him a stalker, but she said, "Listen, he wanted me to bring out the housewife, so I brought it out. Now I went too far because everybody was talking about Colton. There were men in the Bravo world that were dragging Colton, but as soon as Lisa said it, now his life is in danger." Ew. 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 My God, today with that reunion, everybody is ready. Monet is ready. Monet, read the room. Read the room. Please don't come in here trying to cuss out Candace or Lisa. I don't think it's going to work in your favor. Read the room. So now Rob is mad at Candace because he's just like, she wrote my name up and put heat on me as a traitor. She literally saw you take out a fellow traitor. What did you expect her to do? What did you expect her to do? There's not going to be any heat on Candace because nobody's going to believe that this show chose two housewives. Even you were shocked. And you were just like, oh, two housewives? The housewives were shocked that the show picked two housewives. So there's not going to be any heat on her. And she is more well-liked than you. I think Rob may be the next traitor to go. Candace may actually win this. And I felt like how she was playing the game in the beginning, I didn't think she had a shot. But now, my God, today. So we see in a preview that not even getting to the preview yet, but Candace is gunning for him. Candace is gunning for him, and now he is gunning for her. Then we get Colton, who starts gathering people, and he's just like, I'm going to make another big move. I'm going to go for Steven. That was a throwaway, because then he's in another room and he starts saying, wasn't Candace acting really weird? Did you watch her the whole time that she was playing? Wasn't it weird how she was acting? Colton, you should have shut your big fat jaw up, because when you said that, you let me see the plan clear as day. Y'all love him, but y'all gonna hate him later. Rob is cheating. Rob is cheating with Colton. Because don't you think it's weird that Colton keep on getting these hunches out of nowhere? The way he locked in on Lisa and was so sure and wouldn't move was very weird. And then I'm watching this episode and even last episode, and Rob is so loyal to Colton. He's so loyal to Colton, he all of a sudden out of nowhere targeted Lisa. And that was his excuse. Well, I'm loyal to Colton because he's in my alliance. You should be loyal to the traitors. You're a traitor. And now Colton keeps on getting these hunches. There was nothing about Candace that was odd. She's a housewife. They protect each other. So now, all of a sudden, you're just like, oh, it's weird, isn't it? You see how she was acting? You don't know her. Why would you even put any heat on her when there's so many other people that are acting suspicious? She hasn't changed once. You are only doing that because you know who the traitors are, and you are trying to fool the audience in the show. But the way Rob is loyal to that man, he absolutely let him know the game. And these two are going to try to rig the game so that they can be together at the end. And Rob is smart, right? Because Colton is not as liked as he is. So he knows that if it gets down to it, he's going to be chosen over Colton. And Colton is so delusional, he thinks that he's going to be chosen over Rob. So they're both going to snake each other at some point. But these two are absolutely cheating. And I'm just like, Peacock, if you have any footage of them actually exposing the game, then you need to show us. If not, it's very obvious that there is some cheatation going on. And he is doing the same thing that Dan did, because Dan was telling everybody that Phaedra was a traitor. So that's why when it got to Phaedra at the round table, all of a sudden the vote started not going in her favor, because Dan had already told everybody who he was close to that she was a traitor just like him. And I think we need to see that footage. Or if it didn't happen on camera, okay. I'm hoping that this comes out at the reunion, but the way Rob is moving, the way Colton is moving, Colton is not smart. He's a dummy, right? No way. Because I was just like, how is Colton getting these hunches? Because we never see it. We never see these hunches build up. We just see him come out of nowhere and be like, I got an idea. I think it's Lisa. What? And he doesn't give us anything, but he goes right after that target. Now you got a hunch for Candace. Rob is telling him the game. They are working together. And only if everybody, the only way that this game could be corrected is if the faithfuls and Candace get him and Rob out, because they have snaked the game. And if Peacock, I'm hoping that the producers see this and take away that power and throw some wrenches in there so that some unexpected twist in there so that they can't control the game. Right now, they think they got the game controlled because they're working together. And I hope this show throws some twists in there to remove what control they think they have. But those are all of my thoughts. In next week's episode, Rob and Candace had to sit down, and Rob was like, so you don't trust me? Candace said, no, I don't trust you. So you make your move and I'll make mine. Period. Now our girl is here. Now a housewife is in the building. Now I'm rooting for Candace. It was Rob's game to win. You move too funny in the light, baby. You move too funny in the light. And Colton is not as much of a stealth player as you think he is. You would have been better playing the game how you were playing it before. But now you got your little partner, and I don't think it's going to work in your favor. Those are all of my thoughts. What do you guys think? Let's get into the comments. We have our first super chat of the night, and it is from Obviously Me. Obviously Me. I was waiting for you in the Love Island chat. Anyway, Obviously Me said, Rob is that guy. Candace is fried and Lisa is tried. We will see. We will see, because Candace is locked in. Candace has locked in. Rob, you were loved. You should have never played that game they damn played. You should have never. You were doing so well. Twist for Life said, just finished the episode and child, I can't wait for this live. Switzy said, hey, Nikki.Star and fam, I'm nervous but excited to see Nikki's review. Thank you so much for being here. It's me. Said, I don't watch it, but I gotta support. Thank you so much. Please make sure you like up the video, hype it up, and share if you care. Miranda said, observation skills are non-existent this season. If someone advertises who they are on their body, I always see them as that first. The faithfuls are playing a terrible game, and it's just working in the Traitors' favor, right? Because the faithfuls are being hunted by another faithful. So they can never keep their head on straight because they're getting shanked from both sides. Miranda also said, so if a guy walks into a room with sleeves cut off his shirt in order to show off all his snake tattoos, and Rob is that intentional, he's got to work extra hard to prove to me it's a snake, that he isn't a snake. I agree. All Day Finesse said Colton has main character syndrome. Like, boy, you didn't get Lisa out. Rob did, you goofy. Absolutely. And I think that is going to be a problem for Rob because Johnny and Candace are on it. Miranda said he'll take the credit all day, though, with his smug grin. He can't take the credit because Rob did all the footwork. Even Johnny was just like, I think Colton is a traitor, but I don't trust Rob. And Johnny was like, he's hot, but he got to go. Alana Nicole said, OMG, I'm watching it now. I'll be back. Okay. Wow. Dreaming Watch said, oh, it's Candace versus Rob. Mano a mano. Yes. Hey, Asia, how are you? All Day Finesse said, Candace better come at Rob with all she got. She will. I think Candace is clocked in now because not only is she mad about what he did to Lisa, she's like, oh, he's going after Traitors. So, and when Candace protects herself, when she got to fight for herself, oh, she going to give it her all. I don't think Rob is ready. Joe said, if any of y'all ever go on Traitors as a traitor and there's a white guy traitor in there with you, you have to get him out. They always strike first in every franchise. Absolutely. Absolutely. Get him out. Never trust the men, especially if you're a white man. My God, today. Brown Girl said, what a great episode. I love seeing Jam Jam get dragged away. He was so dramatic. Lisa kissed me. Lisa, I said, Jam, you're just going to the hotel. All day Finesse said, my thing is, he didn't even need to betray Lisa at the table and open like he did. 9 times out of 10, she was getting the boot and he could have kept quiet. This was him sending a message, which is so dumb. I think he was playing a great game, but then his machismo kicked in. Then that bravado kicked in, and I'm like, now you're going to put a target on your back, because it's going to be very odd that all of a sudden you've never had an opinion about anything. And now not only do you have an opinion, you have a very strong opinion, and you went after that target and got it right. You are acting out of character. You got to stay in character, Rob. She absolutely. Miss T13 said, OMG, Lisa did it to herself. She was terrible. Like, Lisa never defended herself properly in anything. I don't know why she didn't sit at that table and say that Colton was a traitor, because he told her if she was a traitor, he will help her hunt faithfuls. Why didn't you say that? There were so many moments where she could have defended herself and she just didn't do it. Brown Girl 44 said it was clear from the beginning that Candace talks too damn much. She should have let Dorinda fight for Lisa. I disagree. As a housewife, because there was already heat on Lisa's head for not defending Portia. So I think it was very smart for Candace to defend Lisa. I wouldn't have voted for Rob. I think that was her emotion. I wouldn't have voted for him. I would have voted for Natalie. But you know what? Now I'm thinking about it, I think it's Natalie's male-centered. You're never going to get her to join the girls. So yeah, that wasn't smart on her part. Ashley said, hi, Nikki. Hope you and your family are doing well. Thank you so much, Ashley. C. Jane Twirls said, Rob knows that he is trusted, especially by Colton. His plan may be to take a faithful to that's what I think is happening. Two is for Life said, I hate to say it, but Rob is playing a great game. Nasty and dirty, but good. I think he was playing a great game all up until he changed his behavior. All Day Finesse said, Natalie acting like a damn brute and manhandling her way to get the serum was crazy. Girl, it's a game. And here's the thing. Even though they know that you are a faithful, if they don't like you, they will vote you out. Two is for Life said, I'm so glad she killed Yam Yam. He is so annoying. I would have went for Kristen. Brown Girl 44 said Lisa should have taken Colton down with her. Instead, she killed Jam, who was blamed anyway. Yep, I would have took out Colton. Why not? If you're going to go, take out the person to put the heat on you. Indigo said the way they jacked up Jam was wild and got him out there was too funny. He was so dramatic, but he ate that look, child. All Day Finesse said, shout out to Johnny, though, for making sure Kristen got that potion. Thanya, he said, girl, do you want it? Here. I love him. No, I don't stream the show. I don't think I can without getting a strike on my channel. Miss T said, Yam still Lisa's fate, unfortunately. That's why I was like, Candace, just go with it, but she couldn't vote for a housewife. I just would have voted for Natalie, because I'm like, she got too much heat on her. She absolutely does. Candace needs to start forming her alliance. She got Dorinda. She got Johnny. He can bring in Tara. Kristen don't like Colton. She needs to start saying, listen, those boys are trying to get us out of the game. So we need to come together. She needs to do something like that. Brown Girl said, I'm sick of Natalie bullying everyone. Well, she feels like she can do that because she thinks she has the protection of the men that she's in an alliance with. Fool. I would go for Eric too. As a traitor, I would get Eric out of there too, because Eric's too loyal. Too loyal. Miss T said Jam should have tried to get the potion. That was weird to me. It was also weird that so many people did not try to get the potion. And I'm like, Jam, you were just crying about how you believe the traitors are after you, but you didn't want to get the potion? Weird. Poliver Girl said, Nikki, hello, and Star Fam. What the hell? I just finished watching your Ace Love Island vid. Respect, girl. Thank you so much. Miranda said, and for some reason it bothered me when Rob put his hand on Natalie's shoulder during his monologue. Well, another thing the show isn't showing us, that these guys have an alliance. They are all working together. And even if these people don't believe that the person is a traitor, they're still going to vote them out. I think it needs to be called out that they're hunting faithfuls. And I don't know why anybody hasn't said that. Two is for Life said, I didn't like that either. If someone is dead, they can't talk. Jam Jam should have been made to go quietly. I agree. All Day Finesse said, Natalie showing her A in every form and fashion in the worst way possible. Woo! Ciao. Joe said, this is actually terrible gameplay by Rob. Thank you. Every time a traitor openly targets another traitor, the way Rob did, the traitors fall apart and faithfuls win. Doesn't matter, the franchise always happens. Yep. And I don't know how nobody is seeing that. It is a white man alliance, and they are controlling the game to us for life. Oh, it's good. Oh, it's good. I said they are keeping us on our toes, child. And now next week, Candace versus Rob. Let's go. Miss T said, I hope someone tells Candace that Rob has the dagger. Yes. She got to start working on her alliance. That's why she shouldn't have told Lisa about Monet. Monet would have rolled for her. But I got to be honest with you, Monet is polarizing, right? Because Monet is a strong, dark-skinned male who is a drag performer and sometimes answers to she. The show, the cast is very, very biased. You got to be a white guy to get extra lives on this show. So I don't know how much pull Monet would have had at the table, but I wouldn't have got rid of my alliance for a traitor. That's the thing. Y'all too faithful to the traitors. Absolutely not. Spency says she made it so much obvious. OMG. Natalie made it obvious because she wanted to show Rob her loyalty. Fool. Brown Girl said Natalie was acting so obvious that I thought she was bluffing. Me too. And then I was just like, Natalie, are you serious? How does she win Survivor? I am so shocked. Oh, yes. Thank you, All Day Finesse. It was a Page 6 podcast. All Day Finesse said Tiffany gathered Natalie like a ponytail in middle school. Period. A whole bird. Two is for Life. She read her down. I'm telling you, that reunion is going to eat. Always Price said one thing the white girls are going to do is vote based off of feeling uncomfortable. Yep. So Steph said Rob told Colton Lisa was a traitor. Period. Point blank. That's what I think. He's pulling the Dan. Tonette said Candace is on I'm gonna burn the house down energy. She is so loyal, and when she is betrayed, she scorches the earth. Yep. I don't even think she cares about winning. I think her thing is I'm getting Rob out of here. Alana said, I've watched Survivor since season 1, and I have never, ever enjoyed Natalie on my TV. I know others loved her gameplay, but I just didn't like her and cared less about that. I wanted her off my TV. Yeah, I'm just like, everybody was bigging her up, but I'm like, she is failing hard for me. All Day Finesse said, Tiffany said only 9 people vote for a Big Brother winner. America has to vote for you to win America's fave, on which I did. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that. Miranda said, when Natalie started showing up in her cutout cat suits, I thought, girl, you know Colton is gay and Rob ain't looking at you. If she stopped looking at them boys, she could get, oh my God, do you think she likes them? That's why she's acting like this? Even worse, a woman that betrays other women because she likes some guy. Ugh. Even worse. She is the kind of woman that will befriend you only to set you up to get robbed by her boyfriend. Ooh, if she was from Atlanta, my God, today. Always Prices said Rob took lead because Colton couldn't get the job done. It was too much of a quick switch for me, too calculated. I said, they're working together. And I need the show to get their show back. Come on, traitors. Always Prices said Colton always knows that Rob has a dagger. Also knows that Rob has a dagger. I think Steven knows too. Yeah, they were all up there and they made a pact not to tell anybody. Social Steph said Rob took lead because he was scared of the whiplash from trying to take Lisa down in the prior episode. I think Colton was scared and he convinced Rob to do his dirty work. Miss T said Lisa shouldn't have based her argument on Natalie being the same thing that Portia did. Absolutely. Lisa shouldn't have based her argument on Natalie being the same thing the Portia did. Lisa should have fought to stay in the game. Lisa would still be there, and then her and Candace could work to get out Rob. Ciao. But the thing about it, Candace, is Lisa would have betrayed you too, honey. She would not have been loyal to you. Rob did you a favor. Poliva Girl said, I love Natalie as a competitor. I've always said she's super male-centered, Nikki. Plus, she also has anti-black sentiments. Oh, absolutely. The way she was talking to Tiffany, the way she hated that black one was getting love while she was right there, she doesn't realize it, but she will now. She's a grown woman. She knows what she's doing. Always Price said, literally, he gives, I will both. Who are we talking about? Jam. Miss T said, Eric. Oh, Eric. Eric goes the way the wind blows. He just wants to live. Very bootlicker behavior. Embarrassing. Lance Honette said Colton is on an ego trip. Why shouldn't he be on an ego trip? Everybody in the cast is glazing him except for Candace. They made him a god. So he can't enjoy being worshipped? So Seth said, I was screaming at the TV. It ain't no damn air kisses that got him murdered. Yeah. But it looks like Colton was right. And the thing about it is, Colton is only right because he's working with the traitor. Miranda said, Eric just wants Colton to tuck him in his pocket. Probably. Two is for Life said, when two white men come together, who people, not me, find attractive, they will lead the blind without having to say a word. Yep, Colton and Rob are running this castle just off of white male pretty privilege. I absolutely agree. So Steph, he was so smug, it made my stomach turn. Always Prices said, I think Tara is even getting on Johnny's nerves. Georgia Pete said, Eric is from Atlanta. If he lives in Gwinnett County, he's probably whitewashed. That's normal for Asians out there. Oh, gosh. RMW said, I thought Eric was lying when he said he answered that he was from Atlanta. Yeah, I'm actually shocked. I'm actually shocked that he's from Atlanta. Listen, I'm not from Atlanta. I don't know about Gwinnett, and I do not know about the Asian population out there. So I'm going to just leave it at that. So Steph said, is Natalie, oh gosh. NC4713 said, just finished the episode. Tara is a weak loser. It's like you sat there with Lisa and told her you heard it, and then you backed down. They could have got Natalie out. Here's the thing. The heat would have still been on Lisa. They wouldn't have let that go. Social Steph said, Rob is bringing a lot of attention to him. Not smart. He was skating. I'm telling you, I switched who I was supporting midway through the game. I was going with Rob all the way. I was like, I want him to win. Because I felt like Candace was playing a terrible game. And Lisa, she was just, the heat was on her. She was just going to go. And then out of nowhere, he just switched his character. And I'm like, Rob, they're going to find you. Like, you think because you're in this hunk alliance that you're protected? Mark is fickle. Mark is in so many alliances, you never know which way he's going. And Johnny and Candace got a bone. I don't think he's going to be there very long either. Always Price said Rob started feeling himself, and that is the problem. Around the time he was playing chess with Ron, Rob wants to be acknowledged as the leader. He sure does. Social Steph said, Tara pissed me the hell off. Poliva Girl said, this show is Justin for Colton's, hashtag Justin for Colton's ex-fiance. The Colton boy not having fun is streets. Brown Girl said, exactly. Why would he be so against Lisa when he normally barely speaks? He was on 10. That's the thing. I was just like, now you putting heat on you. It don't make sense. And you're going to blame it and say, oh, Candace is putting heat on me. You put heat on yourself. You completely changed your character. So Steph said, Colton knows who all the traitors are because Rob told him. I agree. Always Prices said, when Candace threw out that warning shot, vote for Rob. I think that was a misstep for Candace. She should have played dumb. I agree. Brown Girl 44 said, Candace threw her game away for Lisa. I think it was I agree. I think it was part Lisa and part Rob. I don't think Candace is thinking about the game anymore. I think Candace is out for revenge. Because I think Candace just wants to get Rob out before he takes her out. Two is for Life said, that's true, Nikki. Rob's talking is becoming more vocal, which might put a target on him, but also white male pretty privilege may save him. I will say this. No shade, he's an attractive guy. But the way everybody's going up for him, I'm just like, I mean, he cute, but that's not like the cream of the crop in the Caucasians. There are way back. Y'all doing too much. Y'all doing too much. So Steph said, I think it could be a misstep as well, but I love the shot she threw at Rob because it was needed. Here is the thing. I am talking about the moves that people are making and what I think is smart or not. Having said that, this was a fabulous episode. They are delivering. RMW said Candace needs to whip those votes with Rob and Colton lockstep theory. I agree. I think she can do it with Johnny. But here's the thing. The reason why I think it might happen with Candace and Johnny is because Johnny will stay 10 toes down, right? If he has people going with him as well. When other people back down, Johnny backs down. Candace ain't backing down. She taking a shot and Rob is out. Certain Z said, I don't think Candace voting for Rob is throwing her game away. I do. I think she should have voted for Natalie. I think that was just emotion. And I wouldn't have told Rob that I'm coming for him. Spencer said, Colton impression. I'm trying. Miss T said, smart move is to put both Colton and Rob against each other. Oh! Do it. But here's the thing. They're working together. So I don't think they will switch on each other. So Steph said, Maura needs to sit down somewhere. Get her off my TV. She's not as vocal, but she is just as male-centered as Natalie. They both can go. Brown Girl 44 said, the worst part of Lisa getting banished was the smut. Yeah, I was like, Colton won again. Colton won again. So Steph said, Dorinda clocked all the way in. She sure did because the housewives protect each other. The housewives protect each other. Always Price said, Dorinda held that down. I was so proud. She came out of nowhere. And she said, first of all, Maura started speaking and she said, not you. Not you. She said, hold on, glasses. She sure did. Polymer Girl said, my favorite Tiff Reed was telling Magic Airs to find another profession when he accused her. I can't. Tiffany and Candace at that reunion. Tiffany, Candace, and Monet at that reunion. I think even Ron is going to have some heat. You know what? Since we're talking about it, Ron has been talking all on the internet, especially on threads about the show and what's going on with him. So let's read some of his threads. This is from Shannon, somebody who's watching Traitors. She posted in Traitors thread. She said, one of the reasons I'm fascinated with reality TV is because, hold on, let me take my banner off. Is because it allows me freedom to better understand people. As a late diagnosed autistic person, I felt so seen by Ron on the season of the Traitors. I don't say this to try to armchair diagnose a stranger, but rather to share some traits that I related to. Ron says, no, you're right. The feeling I had on the show, seeing myself in clips, I started the process of getting diagnosed. Then he says, another person writes, as a fellow person with autism, I'm about ready to go to war behind the way people in that castle are treating Ron. We all heard Portia make the slip up. I'm unaware Traitors was about making lasting friendships. Then Ron says, I honestly didn't know. I myself had autism. I thought I was just an ally and a parent of an autistic child, but the way I felt I wasn't being comprehended or understood, while I thought I was being direct and seeing some of my own mannerisms, made me start the process of going to get a diagnosis. But I won't be comfortable calling myself autistic until my diagnosis is done. Then he is replying to another person. They say, can we talk about that being something you shouldn't have to feel the need to disclose just because people are behaving poorly on the TV show? He says, in the end result, for me being isolated and feeling misunderstood on the Traitors is that I understand myself and my son more. I consider that a victory worth sharing. Then another person writes, giving her autism, coded Fox and Jerry B were, I honestly thought you were and just hadn't made your diagnosis public yet. He says, nope, as the Traitors have shown, I can be extremely unaware of obvious things. Then somebody writes, go King, you owe them nothing. I wanted to watch the show for you, but just couldn't tolerate Rappaport and these vicious people. He said, haven't watched it either. He's coming with heat at this reunion. Janelle writes, I absolutely hate how they've been treating Ron on Traitors. I'm trying so hard not to take this personal, but it feels personal. And Ron says, you and me both. Then somebody says, I was rooting for him, but the way he attacked Dorinda was not cool and made me see a different side. Then Lucy writes, that comment came really out of left field, and I don't think he accuses people as deflection. I just can't tell what came first, the standoffishness or everyone shutting him out. He says it came from a part they didn't show on TV. Then Hugh writes, I wish nasty old white woman wouldn't talk over you. Ron goes, a tale as old as time. Then we see Michael Rappaport responds to Traitors' backlash, saying he felt gaslit by castmates. Ron says, gaslit, what a B. Then Dev King writes to the Traitors thread, Dorinda's comment about how Ron plays the game hit harder now, knowing that Ron has autism. He did the diagnosis and he went and got diagnosed, guys, and found out he does have autism. Kind of another example how unconscious bias runs rampant on reality TV. Ron says, oh, she has conscious bias. She says some truly terrible things to me, but since they were deeply personal and outside of gameplay, they were never shown. Just me blowing up at her out of nowhere. Then somebody writes in Traitors threads, let Rob's actions tonight be a reminder that men will always act in their own self-interest first. Men will always put themselves first while women stand by their side, grieving the disloyalty they receive. Then Ron writes, I think of it as a reminder that some people were raised to be kind, no matter what. And he knew that voting for me what voting for me would have done to my mental health at that point. I think it was also gameplay, Ron. Ira the Bird says, my favorite moment this week was Rob doing his people think I'm just a dumb guy from the South routine, and Ron being like, girl, I know you're not. I actually wonder if Ron suspects in that moment that Rob might be a traitor. He says, I wish I was done at that point, having had my first panic attack in life, so I missed it. Wish I could have focused more, but you know. Then he was responding to this comment by Ash. Ash says, you've quite possibly had the best rebrand in Traitors history. I really appreciate you engaging with us on threads and telling us your perspective after so many of us, myself included, were holding a grudge over you. He says, honestly, anyone who didn't apologize before the reunion can keep them. I appreciate the people who apologized between the end of filming and before it aired very much. Woo! He's responding to another commenter that says, I hope this show hasn't changed you. I haven't watched it. Is it like Survivor? You have always been so full of joy. He said, still me. Just who never watch Housewives or trust anyone who does. This is the last one. T says, I don't watch this show, but you always, without fail, make me smile and laugh. I hope you pay no attention to the viewers who hold a grudge over a TV show. He said, I went on the show after watching Deontay Wilder cry and quit thinking, oh, he just doesn't get the game. I know now I was the one who didn't get it. It's wild in there. You don't even know what day it is half the time. No one watching truly understands how you have to play. And that's just some of the stuff. He is talking, and I'm just like, are you not under contract anymore? He is talking about how they get, hello?
It's me.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. I just want to say I do have to watch Traitors and I do have to catch up. You did tell me to catch up. But I will say this. I interviewed Ryan for Celebrity Week is Link. He's one of the nicest people I've ever met in this industry. And if I named some other people on here, you guys would be shocked. But because they weren't nice.
Who?
Yeah, I'm not going to disclose that right now.
I tried to be messy, y'all.
Yeah. But I will say, out of all the celebrities, the whole entire show is celebrities. Every single episode we air is all celebrities. And Ryan was one of the nicest, patient, kind, understanding cast that I interviewed. And it's also, some people were complaining that it was cold in the studio. Well, if you're shooting a game show and you come into a studio, it's cold.
Okay, well, we're okay.
So we're appropriate clothes. But Ryan, no complaints.
Okay, well, let's get him on NikkiStar TV.
I probably could, because he also used to date one of my friends.
Let's do it.
One of your friends too.
Who?
Girl from UCB. I cannot say her name.
Yeah, don't say her name.
No, I said from UCB. I didn't say her name.
Mouth it.
You just said don't say her name.
No, mouth it. I didn't say it. Mouth it. Who? She loves some black pea. My God. Let me. She consistent with it.
The day that he came on,
she is consistent with it, child.
Well, now I know she actually watched NikkiStar TV, because if she watches this,
girl, you consistent, and that's okay. I like it too, so I understand.
That, he came on the show. Her parents were visiting the show.
Okay, you tell him too much. Go,
and
girl.
I was like, "Do your parents know you?"
You tell him too much.
She was like, "No."
If she's watching. Hey girl, we love you.
But anyway, Ryan, if you're
tell
watching,
me about Ryan.
Ryan, if you're watching NikkiStar TV's reviews, just know that around here we love you, and you are amazing talent.
Love you, Ryan. Come on the show, girl. You never know what's gonna happen on the NikkiStar TV live, child. You never know. Two is for Life said Candace is still way too loyal to a fault. She should not have voted for Rob. You can't show your hand immediately like Rob did. I would have plotted behind his back while smiling in his face. I absolutely agree. NC said Candace versus Rob, game on. That was your warning, Rob. Certain Z said, I love that Candace voted for Rob. I think people make it seem like Rob is the only one with influence in the game, and Candace has been making moves too. Yep. I hope they link up. I hope they link up. So Steph. Nikki says, had to run in here after finishing the episode to say how gross Colton is. LOL. Good episode. It was a good episode. Always Prices said Johnny, Christine, and Candace are about to flip them slowly. He knows the pretty boys have an alliance. Yep. Now I'll be rooting for them. That's my team. Two is for Life said Rob repeated the same thing Colton said verbatim. I almost threw up, like, ew, I'm sick of them both. Here's the thing. I'm like, Rob, you're a traitor. Why are you linking your game to Colton and following behind him? And you are a traitor. When you're a traitor, you're ahead of the game. You're not even in this game. You should know this game better than the faithfuls. And you are relying on a faithful? Terrible game move. My God, you could have won this, brother. Yeah, they seem like so said, I heard it's a good time behind the scenes. They seem like they're having a good time and don't want to go back to their families. Miss T123 said Lisa wants back in a reality TV world. Well, she does. Like that's Lisa Rinna was a star before Housewives, right? But Housewives opened her up to a different audience, a younger audience that she didn't have before. And, that Bravo check is a good one. She definitely revamped her image. And Certainties, we absolutely will see her on the Ultimate Girls Trip. Always Prices said, yes, it was definitely a redemption arc. Oh, absolutely. All Day Finesse said, Candace, Johnny, Tara, and Steven versus Rob, Colton, Natalie, and Eric, Kristen, and Mark up for grabs. Yeah, Mark is playing both sides. Both sides. Joe said, didn't Lisa have some racism allegations on Beverly Hills? She had a lot of macro aggressions towards Garcelle, and it threw Garcelle off because they were friends before the show. So Garcelle was like, what are you doing? We actually have a relationship outside of this. But she wanted to ride with the Coles Cash Karens, and that's what that got her. I'm reading somebody's comment. I am not clicking on that. Y'all are messy. Always Prices said Colton has internal hatred for women, and to be real, so does Rob. I won't say that about Rob. I just don't see it. But with Colton, it's so freaking blatant. My God, today. RMW said, Nikki, how are you going to punch through? He looked a mess. Nikki said, OMG, I didn't know Peacock issued that statement. They sure did. they sure did. And Lisa had to walk back what she said about him. Two is for life said Colton truly has a menacing aura. My spirit is disturbed every time he's on my screen. I really want him gone. Justice for Cassie. My God, today. Justice for Cassie. And it's so disappointing. But here's the thing. I'll give this to Rob. He can't see what we can see, and he doesn't know how he's coming off to the audience. I think he lost so much support by hitching his wagon to Colton. Unless he can flip this, I don't see this working out in his favor. Social Steph said Rob being mad at Candace is so dumb. Like, Rob, abort mission. You are messing it up for yourself. Because why wouldn't she be upset with you? You're taking out a traitor. You are showing her. It's like you never talked to her and said, I'm going to come for Lisa and you'll be safe. You never said that. You just came for Lisa. She was blindsided by it. So what do you think she should do? He's playing a terrible game now. I don't know what happened. Two is for life said Rob being mad at Candace that she came for him just shows his ego. Yep. You can't come for a traitor, but Candace can't come for you. Can come for a traitor, but Candace can't come for you. Boy, bye. Absolutely. He's messing up his game on the show and off the show. He was doing so well. Social Steph said, I think Candace has been playing a good game. She's not too over the top and she's made a lot of friends. Sure did. She's extremely likable until you cross her. Always Prices said Candace's consistency of character may help her win. Yep. Not with Rob with the switch up. While Dreaming Watch said, remember what Rob said, though. Do you think it's a Tourette full of housewives? Yes, he's already trying to plant the seed. Yep. Yeah, Colton is trying to throw out bait because Rob told him who the traitors are. I feel like Peacock needs to be in their contract that as a traitor, you can't tell other people who a traitor is. And if you do that, you forfeit the game. Because I think it ruins the show. It ruins the show. And listen, if you're going to allow them to do that, let us see it play out. But he's cheating now and he's ruining the show. Miss T, he absolutely knows from Rob. Social Stuff said, yes, he's cheating. He told him who all the traitors are. I absolutely agree. Because Colton's a terrible actor. And he comes with these hunches out of nowhere. Boy, bye. You have intel. Moon said, I wonder if Rob snitched that he and Candace are traitors. I think he told him about, here's why I think he told Colton who all the traitors are. Because Colton pulled Lisa aside and said, I'll work with you to hunt faithfuls. Why is that your first move, knowing that you believe that somebody is a traitor? Only if you are also doing it with Rob. They're playing the game together. Always Prices said, Rob is cheating. We agree. Yep. Social Seth said, and that's why Candace is going to cuss him out. She sure should. Lon Tonette said, no, I really think Rob wins that pretty well. White gaze is strong in the group. Probably. Social Seth said, you in an alliance with Rob and know to target Lisa and Candace out of the blue. Get out of here. Joe said, I hope the castle is smart enough to realize that since they've caught 2 women traitors, they need to start bandaging some of the guys because statistically, one of them has to be a traitor. Candace, please. I hope you heard Joe in the future. Two is for Life said, yep, I feel like it too. Their goal is to get Candace out and Rob will bring Colton. Yep. The whites are at it again. I absolutely think that Rob will make Colton a traitor. Social Stuff said, yes, they are rigging it. They're doing what Dan did. Nick said, yes, because Dorinda defended Lisa and Colton didn't say anything. NC said, Alan was giving press this week talking about how this is the greatest episode of all time. My question is the greatest episode of all time in the room with us. It was cool, but it wasn't gagged. I have to agree with you. I saw his press and I was expecting something much greater. This was a good episode. I don't think it lived up to the hype that Alan was selling to us. Always Prices said, tried to rig the game, but you can't fake it. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's exactly what's going to happen. Miss T said, and Candace, when you win, I hope you say that at the reunion. Miss T said, the rules of the game need to be changed. That's so not fair. I agree. Paula Girl said, I hope this show is the last time I see Colton on TV. I don't know. He's getting a redemption. NC4713 said, that's what I don't get. What is Rob's end game? Does he plan on taking Colton to the end and screwing him over? Or does he plan on taking Colton to the end and sharing the money with him? Well, here's the thing. You can't share the money. In their contract, they're not allowed to share. Whoever wins, wins. Because if it's found out that you split the money, you can then be sued by the show for a lot more than what you won. So they can't do that. But that doesn't mean they don't. I hope so too. Miss T said, hopefully the games has some tricks left. I hope so too. Let me get some newer comments and some super chats. NC said, these comps are not equitable at all. It gives an unfair advantage to the men and the athletes. I hate it. I get that. But the women got to clock in. And unfortunately, in Traitors, the women never clock in unless it's a black woman leading the charge. And we have Candace. Evan says, Candace shouldn't have voted Rob. It looks suspicious out of the blue like that. Evan, I actually think it works for her because she's a housewife. So Rob going after her, after she says she doesn't think that Natalie is a traitor, and she's not saying that she thinks that Rob is a traitor. It's a throwaway. So her thing is, oh, I went after him because he got rid of a housewife. I think that may work for her. NC said, we got that one. Nicole said, if Candace voted for Lisa out of the blue, that would have also put it absolutely, since everybody is saying you don't go against housewives. The reason why Lisa got heat on her back was because Caroline Stansberry pulled Dorinda aside and was talking to everybody and was just like, it's real suspicious that Lisa is going after a housewife because the housewife have an unwritten rule. You do not go after another housewife. They come in as an alliance. So Lisa doing that put a target on her back. Chin Chin said, does it bother anyone else how Colton constantly calls Lisa iconic? Low-key feels like a slur when he says it. He's doing too much. It's just too much. Social Stuff says she had so much against Colton and she didn't use it. Yeah, I don't know why. Social Stuff also said, it's already known. Don't go against a housewife. They expect it. Yep. If she would have did that, it would have looked weird. And then you have Colton calling it out. You don't go against a house. Somebody said you don't go against a housewife. That was him putting heat on Candace. But isn't that weird that you would just, where did you get that from? Rob is telling you. Always Price said if Candace would have stayed silent, they would have said she was acting out of character. Yep. And then the reaction of Lisa. The reaction that Candace gave Lisa when she found out. Candace is doing good. Candace is a phenomenal actress. She got this, y'all. The Budget Introvert said, hey, I hated that Jam got to yell out like that. You've never screamed out who has the idol once you get snuffed out at the end. You keep quiet. Yep. I didn't like that. Lisa already had heat on her, but that didn't help. Unless the show wanted her going. Miss T said Natalie might tell Candace that Rob has the dagger. I don't think Natalie would help a woman. Especially against a white man. Obviously, me said low-key Colton did give away that he didn't have the dagger tablet. He was nodding and smiling and giving. Yeah, they all were doing it. They all were doing it. Poliver said, well, my karma wishes that Colton and Snaky Rob both get social pariah treatment after the show ends. Bye, toxic. Child, it just may happen. Dan got red for filth. Miss Brown Sugar said, I think saying throwaway vote helped. Candace didn't look mad when she voted, so she can shrug it off. I agree. Joe said, even if Rob gets Candace out, his game is screwed. She's just going to do a parting shot and it'll be super obvious he's a traitor. I don't see how traitors win now. Same. And that's why you cannot play with a faithful. Rob was playing a phenomenal game until the end of this episode. I'm literally yelling at my TV like, Rob, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Miss Sugar said, I'm not mad at Natalie vying for the antidote. She didn't know if she was at risk. And based on the edit, we weren't sure until then either. I agree. I'm not mad at her, but I just feel like the show needs to have some stricter rules in place. If they can discuss it, then they discuss it. Why are you letting people get physical? Alan said, you guys have to discuss and choose. That didn't happen. They discussed it, and then people just start grabbing it. That wasn't smart. Dorinda's social stuff said Dorinda is perfect because she don't care about the money. She just wants to be on TV. Perfect for an alliance. Yep. Miss Brown Sugar said, does Candace have Dorinda though? Dorinda stays cozied up to Colton and Rob, but she will never go against the housewife. Like that's law for them. They don't play. Miss Brown Sugar said Lisa would have been better off saying I kissed everybody then. So no, I didn't. Then to say no, I didn't. Yep. Yep. Nicole said I really want more out. She's bringing nothing to the game. She's just there. Nicole said they have the Get to Know Rob episode on Peacock. Yeah, because he's the darling. I don't think he's going to be the darling anymore. They better do a Get to Know Candace, child. All Day Finesse said those four are going to wear that MF reunion out. I mean, tag team back-to-back reads. Oh, absolutely. Always said, I hope this reunion is a read fest. Give me peak Housewives reunion. Oh, I think so. Joe said, I admittedly say this as a gay black man who does not date white men. I don't think Rob is good looking. I don't see what people are saying. Listen, I don't think that he's attractive, but I'm just like, the way y'all are drooling over him, it's not Paul Newman. Like, come on. Come on. Miss Brown Sugar said, I don't believe Rob told him. These games are very strict and there are cameras all over the castle. Plus, multiple people guessed Lisa would be a traitor even before they knew, including Candace. However, we know that they do talk because it came out after the press that Dan had told several of the Survivor Big Brother people, I believe, that Phaedra was a traitor. So they can do that. And I think that's the game that Rob is playing. NC said, to add to your theory that Colton is in on who the traitors are by way of Rob, I think back to all that nonverbal cues they were giving each other through the episode. Yep. And even when Colton was just like, y'all didn't find that suspicious? When Rob was just like, that was such a freaking setup. They are playing in our faces. Rob, who is the most physically fit out of all of them, he's running up the hill with the rocks and he's like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. It's just, Colton's just like, you're out of breath. He's like, yeah, I got all these rocks. And Colton's just like, I'll take the rocks for you, bud. And he takes the rocks for him. And then Colton, in his confessional, he's just like, I would love to get the dagger, but, I much rather it be to Rob because I trust him. That was too weird for me. The way that Colton has been fighting for shields, now you want to let it go and want to let it go to Rob? Rob, you're a dummy. But I'm gonna let you have this because you're younger and Colton is taking advantage of you, but Colton is playing you too. Colton might win this. Yeah. MJ said Rob would have come after Candace regardless. So yes, Candy Girl, give Rod that warning shot. Absolutely. Brown Girl said, I think Rob is playing Colton too. Colton's ego won't let him see it before it's too late. I think they're both playing each other. I just think that Colton got more over Rob. Miss T, it would be lovely. It's not going to happen. Still said Ron is going to clock Dorinda at the reunion. Oh, absolutely. I know he is not going to hold back. He has a lot of time to process and gather his thoughts, and he's going to come out swinging. I know he is. Poliver said, do you think Rob will also come out as a... No. Brown Girl said Ron is a whole different person in his interviews. Absolutely. Miss Brown Sugar said, okay, see, it's not about whether Rob voted for Ron. It's about Rob going around the castle and moving votes for Ron and Colton because he wanted to take Lisa out. But sure, Jan, that's the thing. Like Ron, but see, Ron hasn't watched the show. So Ron thinks that Rob was doing a nice gesture. No. Rob is very calculated. All the moves are starting to come together now. He wasn't being kind to Ron. He used Ron. He knew Ron was going, but he used Ron to get the Lisa thing started, to get the Lisa banishment started. Mama Star says, hey, Star family, please don't forget to like this video. Thank you, Nikki. Really appreciate you all. Thank you, Mama. That's the thing. Always Price said, now, Ron, I need you to watch the full show before the reunion and take a note. Absolutely. But he's not. He's not. Moon said, Candace said the only thing she saw with Ron and Dorinda was her commenting that he was sleeping and staying to himself when people were socializing. But that doesn't mean something else didn't happen. I just think the way Rob switched up, I don't think it's good gameplay. To Us for Life said, come on, Toya Star, with the on site reporting. Give us tea, sis. Indigo Girl said, I always thought that this show can be triggering for people who have past traumas, especially after how Deontay Wilder left. He seemed to miss the mark on the vote, and that really affected him deeply. It did. Remember, he was crocodile tears. He felt so bad. So bad. Yuroska said, OMG, I forgot this was live. I'm like, oh, I'm getting real time tea. Thank you for being here. He does, Miss C. He does give real nice guy. Indigo Girl, I said, I always thought this show, oh, we got that one. While Dreaming Watch said, not for nothing, this is exactly how Rob moved on Love Island. He had a bromance alliance with Aaron and even thought it was a romance show. Even thought it was a romance show. He low-key had more loyalty than his bro than anyone else. Yep. Always said, OMG, Rob thinks that him and Colton would be a duo like him and Aaron were on Love Island. We see how that ended. Let me tell you something. If Colton comes in and snake Robs at the end, he deserves this win because he's playing a great game. He's playing a great game. I agree. Miss T, I always talk about that. I feel like they make these challenges for fit people and fit people only, fit young people. Like, you cannot have anybody. Why are you casting people in their 70s and you got them running up a hill? That don't make sense. That does not make a lick of sense. Joe said it's in the contract that traitors can't openly state who the other traitors are. They can't even reveal themselves as traitors. That's why the thing Colton pulled with Lisa would never have worked. That's the thing. It's in the contract, but we know that Dan from last season did. From his own castmates from Big Brother, they said that he told. Miss Brown Sugar said it's absolutely in their contract, and I think the producers are quite strict due to legal liability. He could do some hinting. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, I don't think he outright said it, but remember, look how him and Lisa played that chess game. Oh yeah, and the women and the gays, aside from Colton, have not clocked in. It's a boys' town. And they do it every season. Every season. Georgia Peach said, do you think that because they got rid of Caroline, the all housewives will stick? I think so. Always Price. Oh, wait. Are you talking about what Rob said? I don't think that will stick because somebody, it's going to have to make sense for somebody's just going to be like, one of the traitors is a guy. It's not going to be all women. Like, they have to start thinking, but I don't have any faith in the faithfuls. Always Price said, I'm actually shocked that it's not already in the rules. I think it is, but I think Colton knows. Miss T said Rob is playing like he has won. Not smart. Yep, because you don't know. There could be so many twists and turns in this game, and you could really be at fault. Nicole said they should add a double agent to the game. I think so. I think so as well. Paula said, Nikki, it's already in the Peacock contract. Rob is dumb. Every trader is forbidding from disclosing traders. I don't think they're going to take his paycheck. Here's the thing, guys. There are rules, but I don't think they necessarily stand by it. And if they don't have any evidence that Rob said anything, same thing with Dan. The cast members are coming out and saying, oh, he told us, so we knew that it was Phaedra. That's why she was able to go. No, like, I forget the blonde dumb. No, I'm sorry. The girl that plays a dumb blonde. She was saying that there was never any heat on Phaedra until Dan told them that she was a traitor. There was never any heat on her. So, I mean, but it's just her word against Dan's. Like, if the show doesn't have it on camera, they don't really have any proof. It's just hearsay. And also, they hang out and talk outside of filming. So it could absolutely happen. Always Prices said the saddest part is that Rob had a whole redemption arc with Traitors compared to Love Island. He would have been on top of the world post show, but he turned into Ace. See, the thing is, he doesn't know that. He doesn't know that. Yikes. Miss T said Candace is a very good reader, people. If she does a little digging, she could read these men, and she will. That's like, I think that's a fine white dude. Like, that should be like a white standard. Y'all doing too much for Rob. Now, Paul Newman, I would be like, yeah, I got you. A Paul Walker before the child girlfriend had me in a chokehold. Miss and Marie said, going to be interesting, Traitor versus Traitor. However, Rob has more allies. I'm afraid Candace will be out next. We'll see. Either way, it's going to be good TV. Georgia Peach said, Rob mentions his alliance and friendship with Colton too often. Yep. They're playing another game right under our noses. Palaver Girl said, are we forgetting Rob voted for Lisa? Traitors on Traitor move. Candace is being judged. Yep. Oh, child, y'all talking in here. I'm gonna try to get as many comments as I can, child. User said on Rob and Colton can share the winnings. If Rob finds a way to get rid of Candace, then choose Colton as the new Traitor recruit. True. And that might be in the works. That might be in the works. I think male-centric and young. I don't think it's fair. Still said, I don't think Rob told anyone. I think he is playing to win. Everyone is giving Colton too much credit. He just thinks he knows everything and is throwing out names like he thinks he's omniscient. Here's the thing. I could agree with that had they both not been moving so weird this game. You didn't think that whole rock exchange out of nowhere was suspicious? Because Steven is also in the alliance, and now Colton is coming for him. Colton, if it would make sense if Colton was just like, I'm sorry, I know Rob, I'm in an alliance with Rob, but I need that dagger. The fact that Colton backed off from going after Lisa and backed off from going after the dagger is weird. Especially when he said that he knew that a traitor was coming, that the traitors were going to come after him. Now you don't want to be safe. Now you don't want to have no protection. You don't want to have any protection, and you don't want to have any protection because you don't need it. You got protection because you're working with the traitor, and you already shared your plan when you told Lisa that you will work with her. He finally got the right traitor to accept his dumb offer. That was too weird for me. I'm like, you have been trying to get everything to protect yourself. And this challenge, where you could have 2 votes to protect yourself, especially, come on, Nikki, especially when last episode you were almost out. You had a lot of votes for you. So wouldn't you want that extra protection? But you're going to give it to Rob? Nah, play checkers, not me. Play checkers, not me. Miss Andy Marie said it's going to be an interesting Traitor versus Traitor. How Rob has more ally. Oh, I got that one. Soso Seth said he just said in the prior episode he was going to take every shield now. Thank you. Like, all of a sudden you don't need protection. Why don't you need protection? Because you know you're safe. You know you won't be killed. Miss Anne Marie said Rob is playing an excellent game, but was he really going to protect Candace until the end? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Miss T said, what's Colton on the tree? Because I remember one of the contestants on the tree said they wouldn't work with. Huh? Can you write that again? I'm telling you, that book bag moment, I said that don't make sense. You told everybody that the traitors were coming for you. Now you don't want protection all of a sudden? Weird, y'all. Weird. Miss Brown Sugar said, no, wait, wasn't it Rob who had the most gold, or am I misunderstanding? Rob had the most gold because it was given to him. Colton had gold as well, but he took Rob's stuff and let him run to the front, and then gave him his gold. It was weird. It was weird. It was really, really weird. I said, Colton all of a sudden doesn't want protection. He didn't fight for the potion. Why did he get up? Colton didn't say anything. He didn't get up for the potion, and he didn't say anything. You told us last episode that the traitors were coming for you. You didn't even say, hey guys, listen, the traitors, let's get it on. We have to do something. Please just let me have this because I know they want to take me out. He sat there and watched. So Tara and Natalie can fight over a potion? Weird. The way he is moving is because he thinks he's 10 steps to get ahead of the game. State said, I thought Rob R was going to be a disappointment as a traitor. Now I wish he was. Listen, he's actually a really good traitor. I just felt like this move, I agreed that he had to, I would have voted against Lisa. I think he's doing too much. And I think Colton is messing up his game. If he wants to win this, he got to get away from Colton. Let me get my super chats. Obviously Me, thank you for another super chat. Obviously Me said Rob's sister has Down syndrome and Rob is a well-documented introvert. Gameplay isn't in every move in the castle, Nikki. Sometimes support is support. Absolutely. It could be both. Because that support worked in his favor. Callie C, thank you for the super chat. Callie C said, I think he's good looking, but I think is good looking, but he looks like he also has had credit. Who? Are we talking about Rob? If so, I agree. MW says Rob is outplaying Candace at the moment. Her burning her vote was not smart for her game. I have to disagree. Well, you know what? No, I agree and then I disagree. I think if I were her, I would have voted in Natalie. But it also works in her favor to go after the person that came after a housewife. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out, child. MW, thank you for another super chat. MW said Rob has 8 fairly solid votes with only 12 people left. Candace don't have that for now. For now, them housewives have influence, y'all. They have influence, but we'll see. MW said, not weird. As long as Lisa was there, Colton knew he wouldn't be killed. I think we're giving Colton too much sense. Like, guys, look how Colton has been playing. He's getting these hunches out of nowhere. Y'all don't think that's weird? That Colton is getting these hunches and he's getting every traitor? I won't give him Donna because he wasn't the one that called that out. But I think it's very weird that out of nowhere, he said, I'm going to make a big move again. I'm going to go for Lisa. How? Why Donna before Lisa? If it was so obvious. Now you got a hunch for Candace? It's weird, y'all. It's weird. Now you got a hunch for Candace. Now you don't care about being protected. Him and Rob switched up too quick for me, for that not to be suspicious. That's all I'm saying. But I think y'all blinded by his Caucasian abs. And I get it. If he was 6'5", 225 and all the way live in deep dark chocolate, I'd probably be convinced too. But since that's not my steez, You cannot trick me. You cannot trick me. NC said, I'm worried about Candy when it comes to female allies. Mora and Tara are airheads, but Candace got Johnny and Johnny got Tara. Dorinda is just kind of there, and Natalie's male centered. Tiff and Candy would have ruled if she was still in the game. Yeah, you're right. Here's the thing, I'm thinking about the next kill. How are they going to do it? Because when they meet, they got to kill somebody. Who is it going to be? If I was Candace, I would go for Colton. If I was Candace, I would go for Colton. Don't let Rob protect his alliance. I will go for Colton. Obviously, me said the faithfuls on the tree were Ron, Christian. Oh, yes. And Eric. Thank you for clearing that. Clearing that up. DGF said Candace is going to have to select the new recruit to support her game. But I think both traders have to agree on that. But guys, are we going to get a new recruit? They're playing a different. The show it's a lot different from last season. I don't know. I don't know. Miss T said Rob also convinced Lisa and Candace to keep Colton in the game when they could have murdered him. Yep. We'll see how this plays out. Because I get bringing in another traitor, but the traitors are divided. They're at war. So how is that going to work? Apollo Girl said, I'm quite a philosopher, aka Nikki. The devil is a liar. I rebuke a Colton and Rob win. No, Candace and Johnny, por favor. I prefer Candace and Johnny, but like a lot of you guys are saying, Colton and Rob have a lot of influence. So we'll see. I know the housewives can do it, but the women, a lot of them are male centered. So it's all up for grabs, child. NC said, I'm worried. I got this. State said, if Candace gets banished as a traitor, the faithfuls are going to look at that throw away vote. Here's the thing. That's why I know they're at war, but I'm like, guys, you're going to have to work together because y'all going to get out. Y'all are going to get out. Thank you, Callie Steve, for another super chat. Callie Steve said, I meant that I think Rob is good looking, but he looks like he has bad credit. Yes, I can see that. I can see that. MJ said, Candace can get Johnny, Tara, Kristen, Mark, might go with Kristen, Steven, Dorinda, maybe plus. You know what? Here's the thing. I think she can only get Steven if Colton takes a shot at him. So somebody got to tell Steven that Colton is coming for him. That's the only way Candace can get him. Cynthia, hey. Cynthia said, Candace got everyone to do an impromptu. Yeah, you're right. You guys are making sense. Still said, honestly, Colton thinks he can get away with anything because he's gotten away with much worse. If you watch his Bachelor season, you see he's just flighty and goes by emotion in the seat of his pants. Absolutely. Nate says Rob is going to protect Colton until the end. He won't even vote for him at the round table. The devil is a liar. Yeah. Do I got another super chat? Oh, I do. I got that from Carly C. Oh, thank you, MW, for another super chat. MW said Lisa and Donna were mad obvious. Lisa voting Portia made no sense. Housewives stick together. Now Candace made herself obvious. Colton would be smart. Kill now that Lisa is gone. But see, this is the thing. I don't think that Candace made herself that obvious. I will say she made herself obvious with writing Rob. I would have voted Natalie. I think she's trying to swing Natalie to her alliance, but Natalie is male-centered. And I don't think that that's going to go her way. But her not voting for a housewife, even Colton called that out, right? Even though he was trying to be smug, but that works in her favor because that is what they are. That's what they do. They don't go after each other. So I think that part will work for her. Thank you for the super chat. I don't know. He's so loyal to him, Tom. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. Two is for life said Candace should definitely go for Colton. He already had some heat on him, so it won't be hard to rally the troops. We'll see how much of an alliance Rob has with Colton if Candace throws him out. Well, yeah, said, okay, I thought it was crazy. I peeped Rob leaked information to Colton early on. Colton's cockiness comes from knowing things. I think so too. Colton isn't smart, in my opinion. The stuff that he was coming out, his reasonings, I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense. But you are coming out, you're making big moves. You're making big moves because you know you're right. Nate Beverly said, Candace has to make sure they don't murder someone whose vote she can sway. Absolutely. I will go for Colton. CJ and Twirl said they have to separate Rob and Colton. The traitors will be able to entice another traitor, but I can't see it with all the distrust. Yep. Nate Beverly said, does Rob know the show is Traitors, not Bachelor? Here's the thing. I was so weirded out by Rob when he said, I don't know. I know I'm a traitor, but I feel like more of a faithful. What? And I feel like he's been dropping little things to set up this strong alliance with Colton so it doesn't look weird that Colton is making these big moves and being right. You shouldn't have let him carry your rocks because that didn't make a lick of sense. And you should have told him or made eyes with him and told him to go for that potion. Because the way that both of y'all are moving don't make sense. And Abba said, Candace said that they were talking about doing a conga line before. Yeah. So she's smart. I feel like we're underestimating Candace because she's loyal to a fault. We saw it with Monique. But now that Lisa is out, I don't know, y'all. We may have a really good match. Always Prices said Colton is also very insecure, so for him to move this way is a major tell. Yes. Sate said, question, according to the rules, when two traitors remain, they get to recruit. If there is a recruit, who do you think will be recruited? I would love it to be Natalie. Natalie's a terrible player. I would never vote for her. I would, you know what? I would bring in Johnny. Nobody suspects him. I would bring in Johnny or not Kristen. There's Kristen, right? There's always some heat on her. I think that Rob is going to try to bring in Colton. If I were Candace, I would fight for Johnny. Yeah, I think those are the only two that I think would be good traitors. What do you guys think? Aside from State saying Natalie. You know what, Nate? It's possible. Rob's been flipping this whole time. It's possible. Well, yeah, said, I hope Candace can beat Rob, but most of this cast is horny for him. It's ridiculous. Well, Johnny's horny for him too, and he thinks that he's a traitor. So I feel like there's going to be some major twist. And the reason why I think that is because reality TV shows do this all the time. When you think you know how the show is going to go, they do a major twist. And they're leading us down this road of Rob and Colton running this game all the way to the end. What I know about these shows, they do not like for us to have, they don't like to predict the end. They like to throw you or mislead you and lead you down the wrong road so you can never catch what's coming. And right now, there's just too much footage of Rob and Colton running this game that I feel like it's not for them. It's not for them. And had Rob not switched up, I would have never caught that. Always Prices said Rob is starting to overact. His slip is showing. When he slipped up with commiserating, I thought he was going to fall back. He didn't. And now you're showing people that you're a lot smarter than you play. Rocky says, the only reason Colton caught on Lisa is because there's only so many contestants and he was eventually going to hit the right one at some point. Oh, absolutely. Had he went for her a little later, would have made sense. He's going at Traitors too soon, too early. It doesn't make sense. Also, Traitors did a terrible job making Lisa a traitor. She's so obvious. Candace said she was a traitor day one. Miss T said they definitely talked strategy while carrying them rocks. They sure did. I said, what's going on here? You don't want to get the dagger, Colton? You were almost voted out. You got this whole alliance. If you say jump, they all say how high. You didn't want to convince them to put the rocks in the gear. Why do you think you're safe? Miss Berger said every successful trader says something along the lines of play like a faithful, think of yourself as a faithful. Siri said that was the key to her winning the game. I have to watch that season because everybody's talking about her. Everybody's saying she was the best trader ever. Or faithful. I don't know what you want, but everybody's saying like she was the best. Social Steph said Johnny should be the recruit. I agree. Obviously, B said Lisa was painfully obvious and got clocked for the same reason Donna did. She wasn't acting like herself and she can't lie to save her life. I don't think that Lisa got clocked because she wasn't acting like herself. I think she did a good job in defending herself when she told Colton, hey, I play a character on TV, basically. You don't know who I am. I think she did a good job with that because I felt like that wasn't a strong argument. I think Lisa lost because she can't defend herself. She was banished because she can't defend herself. If she could defend herself like Phaedra, she would have still been there. Abba said, what strategic sense did it make for Rob to purposely go after Lisa? Most were convinced it was Natalie. Rob just didn't like who he had as a traitor. He wants to get Candace out and pull in Colton. I agree. I think a major twist is coming too, Social Steph. It's too predictable. It's too predictable. Yeah, it's just like he didn't really have a strong argument. But I think Lisa lost that for herself, not Colton. Colton, he put heat on her, but she lost it. That was hers to win. It was very easy for her to do, and she lost it on her own. Nate Beverly said, if Candace lets Rob talk her into bringing Colton on there, they're going to toss Candace out. If Candace lets Colton become a traitor, fool. I would never let that happen. Fool. Kylie Steve said in all her interviews, Candace is always beaming. I think she makes it to the end. I hope so. Always Price said, I said the same thing. When he called out the vocab lesson, he started showing he was smart. Yep. And he didn't fall back. I'm like, Rob, your behavior is weird, bro. The ego is doing the work now. Nate said, Rob definitely getting too confident. You heard what he said about Candace voting for him? Yeah, he thinks he controls the game. And we're seeing too much of him and Colton. Something is going to happen. Joe said, allegedly Candace slipped that she makes it to the end in an interview, but I haven't heard it myself. Oh! Georgia Peach said, and he said that he was going to go after every shield from now on. Very weird. Well, yeah, said, by the way, I love your lives. You just get it. And I love you. Thank you so much. That was so sweet. Abba said, Siri is the only trader to win the game. Wow. Y'all gonna make me watch that season over the weekend. To Us for Life said, that's why I think Rob is playing a good game. He's playing like a faithful. He's earning the trust of almost everyone in that castle. It's going to be hard to go at him. I absolutely agree. I thought he was playing a good game until the end. I'm not talking about the stuff that we can see that everybody else can't see, but just the way he all of a sudden just started becoming a leader. I'm like, no, don't. You see how people can call you a traitor if you switch up your behaviors. Don't do that. MJ said Siri was good because nobody suspected her, and the only person that did was murdered off, which was Brittany. I gotta watch that season. Well, yeah. Oh, she was sick of her. She was sick of her. Antho said Rob aligning himself with the stalker is not a good look. See, guys, I don't think they know that. I think everybody knows that now, and they'll probably act accordingly. But I don't think anybody knows who Colton really is. Joe said Siri was a great trader. I think the thing that helped her the most was that she dragged two black faithfuls to the end with her, and then she voted out the final white guy trader. He was gagged. Oh, I gotta watch it. We got another super chat. Thank you, MW. MW said, it made sense for Rob to make sure Lisa goes. It would always be two housewives versus a lone wolf. I think Rob cuts Candace at the end. You know what, MW? Thank you so much for that. I didn't even think about that. I did not even think about it being two housewives and Rob. You're right, and they don't go against each other. But it could have worked in Rob's favor that Lisa went against Portia. But that's a really good point. Here's the thing. The reason why I feel like his ego is getting in the way is because Lisa was going. Rob didn't need to help. And him putting himself out there just did not make sense. And I think Rob does not realize that he's being played by Colton. This is going to get messy. Messier, child. Yep. Thank you, So Steph. So Steph said, and thank you, MW, for the super chat. So Steph said, Rob specifically said he wanted to stay under the radar to a degree, and now you leading at round table. It doesn't make any sense. And I think there are people who are clocking it, but the show is not showing us that because they want a big twist. I think so too. I think that here's the thing. Miss T said Rob suggesting they make a dagger pact could come back to haunt him. I think what's going to come back to haunt him is Steven, because Steven is a faithful and Colton is going to go after Steven, and Steven can't hold water. He gonna tell everything. And I think that I really feel like the next round table, if it's not this one, is going to be the next one, is going to be Steven versus Colton versus Rob. And I don't know who's going to win. Joe said, I don't think Lisa and Candace were 2 versus 1ing Rob, though. They seem happy to work with him. Yeah, they did. They did. I always was like, Candace, you better watch out for Lisa. I never thought about Rob. But, you know, he's white and he's a guy. State said Sarah was a great traitor, but no one suspected her. Given her Survivor legacy, I think she would have been my first suspect. Oh, she was on Survivor. I thought she was a regular. Y'all told me she was regular. Oh, she was on Survivor? Of course she know how to play. Still said, do you think if they recruit someone and it's Johnny that he would tell Tara because they are still under the radar as a secret BS? I think so too. No, I don't think that Johnny would. I don't think that he would. But we'll see if that happens. Abba said the Traitors can all win together, so it's no reason to think they would isolate them unless he went against them. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm like, can't they all win together? Why do they go after each other? That's so dumb. Cynthia said, you got hyped for a possible twist. As far as I know, the leader of the faithfuls, like Pilot Pete, don't win. I have not watched all season. Yeah, it's always going to be some kind of twist. Always Price said, good call out. Steven gave it up for the pet. Candace is going to use that. Yep. Nate said, Colton definitely playing Rob. Notice he didn't really say too much at the table after he put the battery in his back. Yep. And he was talking to him through his eyes, making Rob do all the dirty work. I'm like, you're a freaking traitor. And this faithful got you working? I will say, if Colton wasn't such a terrible person, I would say make him a traitor because he'll be damn good at it. Polymer Girl said, by the way, what's up with the traitors named Rob always banishing their own? This is the Boston Rob curse from last season. Joking. Bob the drag queen, also a Rob. I don't know. Obviously, me said Candace's loyalty to someone who couldn't save herself is frankly weird and emotional, the same way Rob defended Ron and people eat up Rob for the decision. I've always said that I think that Candace's loyalty is going to get her in trouble, but we will see. Alba says Siri was Brandy's first suspect, but she was killed off. Y'all gonna make me watch it. Y'all gonna make me watch it. MJ said, I think they're going to murder someone off, and then that person is going to get a choice to be a traitor. Oh, that would be a good twist. Then don't murder Colton, child. State said, the fewer traitors faithful there are, the bigger the share of the pot you get in the end. That's why I don't like him, but I think Colton is playing a really good game. He's playing everybody. Everybody. Because Steven is a part of his alliance. And now you're trying to get him out? Why? Colton can't win against Steven in the end. He is the only one playing the game the way it should be played. But nobody's rooting for him because he's a terrible person. Miss T said Rob doesn't want to split the pots. He wants the whole thing, hopefully. Abba said Candace's loyalty makes more sense than Ron because Lisa actually has power. I agree. And I think that Candace was trying to win with the Traitors. Rob shook that all up. Joe said the faithfuls who win are whichever ones are the closest to the last standing traitor because the traitor has been keeping them safe. And those faithful are usually pretty clueless and followers. Oh my God, if Magic Airs makes it to the end, I will scream. I will scream. Miss Brown Sugar says Siri is one of the greatest Survivor legends of all time. Back on our screen next month for season 50. Wow, I had no idea. Irene said, I fear none of the traders have been able to do what Siri if Phaedra was close, but Siri was just cool, calm, and collected. Miss T said Natalie might have some loyalty to Candace since she didn't vote for her. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. She is, I don't know. She just hasn't proven that she's that girl. Irene said Rob now has his people under his wing. This would be interesting. What will be interesting is if the alliance gets split. Those who vote, those who are loyal to Rob and those who are loyal to Colton. Like that could split and it could be Rob versus Colton. We will see, child. We will see. Anyway, Star Fan, we're at the 2-hour mark, and you know we like to wrap it up there. Thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you all for sharing your conspiracy theories. Let's see if we're right next week. Who knows? I will say this. I think they're doing a great job. The racial bias has tainted this season. I feel like the show is getting back on track. I was on my toes the whole episode, heart beating out of my chest because I don't know what's going on or what's going to happen next. And I think that's a really great show. And that's how it should be. Rooting for Candace and a few of the faithfuls, but we'll see. This game switches all the time, so who knows? I think we got a big twist coming, and I can't wait. Love you all. Thank you for joining me. I will see you if you dare to come back. I am doing a reality TV chat tomorrow, and then I am going to review Love After Lockup right after the episode airs. So love you all. See you tomorrow. Bye. This was fun.